DAP's Anthony Loke has urged against politicizing a recent incident involving a school that had flown the Jalur Gemilang upside down. Meanwhile, DAP Women has condemned the party's Negeri Sembilan Veterans Club for using sanitary pads in a protest against a fellow party member. The club's chairperson has since apologized for their action. Stay tuned for all this and more on KiniNews. DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke said there is no need for anyone to politicize the recent upside-down Jalur Gemilang incident at a Chinese school in Port Dickson. He told reporters after launching the Seremban parliamentary-level Merdeka celebration at a school today that every time something like this happens, there will be some quarters trying to politicize it.
Yang pertamanya memang kita memberikan peringatan kepada semua orang supaya jangan memandang remeh kepada bendera kita. Apabila kita kibarkan secara betul, secara hormat dan mesti ada sensitivity. Tetapi kadang-kala ada kesilapan-kesilapan yang mungkin tidak disengajakan. Dan kita serahlah kepada pihak yang tertentu. Dalam kes ini, sekolah perlu memberikan laporan kepada Kementerian Pendidikan. Jadi tak perlulah mana-mana pihak untuk cuba mengambil peluang ataupun mengambil peluang ini untuk mempolitikkan isu-isu seperti ini.
Yesterday, Education Minister Fadlina Sidek said her ministry will take action against SJKC Chonghua in Port Dickson, where the Jalur Gemilang was flown upside down. She also said her ministry is waiting for a full report on the results of the investigation into the incident. She added that the ministry has reminded all quarters about this issue multiple times, and when they receive the full report, they will take strict action. Earlier this morning, UMNO Youth Chief Dr. Ahmad Saleh had commented on the issue. He questioned how students will be taught the right values when even the national flag is put up upside down, stressing that the national flag must be honored, not desecrated. Ahmad decried what he described as a recurring pattern of offense followed by apologies. He said they have long emphasized that severe punishment must be given to those who disrespect the Malaysian flag. He added that it's hard to believe the mistake wasn't noticed unless someone was deliberately ignoring it. With this, Ahmad urged the Education Ministry to take stern action before this becomes something that is trivialized, where people just do it first, apologize later, and think it's settled. Yesterday, Education Minister Fadlina Sidek vowed that strict action would be taken. Meanwhile, the school SJKC Chonghua has since apologized for the August 1st incident, saying that it received the information around 5 p.m. and took corrective measures immediately. In a joint statement issued by the school board, administration, and parent-teacher association, it explained that the error occurred during flag installation before the end of working hours. However, it said due to carelessness, one of the flags was installed upside down. The incident was recorded by the public and uploaded to social media. An act by Negeri Sembilan DAP veterans has drawn fire not for the message, but the way the group carried it out. DAP Women condemned their use of sanitary pads to ridicule a party member, calling it harmful and tone-deaf. Speaking to Malaysiakini, Wing Chief Teo Nie Ching said that while the public display of sanitary pads has, in some civic moments, served to challenge period stigma and normalize a natural bodily function, using them as a prop for mockery has the opposite effect. She said using it as tools of attack or ridicule only reinforces the shame and stigma long associated with menstruation. She pointed out that some girls miss school because they can't afford them, and yet here they are wasting large quantities of sanitary pads just to mock their political rivals. Federal territories, DAP Women also criticized the stunt, urging party members to express disagreements in respectful, constructive ways. They said actions like this harm not just political discourse, but the dignity of women. Still on the topic, Negeri Sembilan DAP Veterans Club chairperson Lee Kong Hing has apologized for his actions. At a press conference in Seremban today, Lee said he did not intend to offend or discriminate against women. He explained that he was just using the sanitary pad as a prop. He said he used it since it is airtight and waterproof because the state DAP committee didn't speak up, and that was what he was trying to express. He added that if what he did was insulting, then he would just say sorry. He apologizes a bit. However, he claimed that he had received calls from some women who told him they were not offended by his actions. Lee further stated that he did not expect the matter to escalate to this extent. He reiterated his protest is against the decision to nominate Vincent Wu, a DAP Central Executive Committee member whom Lee labeled as an outsider, as a senator representing Negeri Sembilan. However, he said the Negeri Sembilan DAP Veterans Club had no choice but to accept the decision, as the state leadership had refused to reverse it. Earlier today, in a separate press conference, DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke slammed Lee for using sanitary pads to express their dissatisfaction, saying it was highly insensitive and urged him to apologize. Loke also reminded party members that in any political party, major decisions are made by its top leadership, and no decision can please everyone. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysiakini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said he was committed to avoid three-cornered fights that could split the government bloc and confuse voters in the upcoming Sabah election. Anwar said this when asked to comment on the love triangle between Pakatan Harapan, BN and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah coalitions. According to Bernama, he said love is comforting, but sometimes it leaves a little wound. But that is the meaning of love. Anwar, who is also Pakatan Harapan chairperson, said that for now, they are trying to secure an arrangement where there are no three-cornered fights. However, he said in case it has to happen, their advice is that they will probably try to refrain from entering the battle to avoid creating too much division. He added that he didn't want to preempt that because their intention is to ensure a full understanding. There has been a rift between Sabah BN and GRS from January 2023 when Sabah UMNO withdrew its support for Chief Minister Haji Noor's government. BN was the first to confirm an alliance with Harapan in Sabah for the state election, while GRS only confirmed its intention to work with Anwar's coalition last week. After several Bersatu members were arrested over the recent Turun Anwar rally, party leader Wan Saiful Wanjan didn't hold back. The Bersatu Supreme Council member slammed the government's actions, saying he didn't think we can expect any better from them. He claimed that this is a government that was cobbled together from parties with very different agendas by Anwar Ibrahim, who was willing to sell his soul just to become Prime Minister. He questioned how we can expect anything else from this government. He said the arrests were completely unnecessary and added that it confirms the government does not uphold constitutional rights to freedom of speech and assembly. On July 28th, Bersatu Division Chief Badrul Hisham Shaharin, also known as Che Gubart, was detained after a police report was lodged over the rally. Badrul's lawyer, Rafiq Rashid Ali, said an investigation paper was opened under Section 14 of the Minor Offences Act for insulting behavior and Section 504 of the Penal Code on intentional insult with intent to provoke a breach of peace. The probe was also said to involve Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act, covering the misuse of communication networks, and Section 4(1) of the Sedition Act, which punishes the utterance of seditious words. The following day, police arrested Perak Bersatu Youth Organizing Secretary Furkan Hakimi and another party member, Shafiq Aziz, over the rally. On Friday, it was announced that the United States had lowered tariffs on Malaysian goods from 25% to 19%. A Pakatan Harapan leader said this proves that Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's steady diplomacy and strategic engagements are bearing fruit. We carried out a poll to find out what our viewers thought about the tariff reduction and its impact on Malaysia. Let's take a look at the results. 50% of over 7,000 people that voted said that it is a big win for Malaysia and proof of Anwar's leadership. Meanwhile, 35% said it is too early to celebrate and a tariff is still being imposed on Malaysia. 11% was skeptical, saying that a small reduction doesn't mean much in the long term. Several voters brought up how Boeing planes will be purchased as part of the deal. A voter also pointed out that the US had imposed 10% tariff on Singapore and their ministers had not praised their leader. What are your thoughts on the matter? Share your views in the comment section below. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.